Hi everyone, this is Destiny from the Book Clinic, and in this video, we're going to explore theme. Spoiler alert, everything you learned in school was wrong. So let's discuss what theme actually is, how it functions, and how Pixar's film Soul expertly expresses a strong, unique theme through its character arcs, plot, and conflict.
Let's start by breaking down exactly what theme is and how it works. Many people confuse topic with theme. Love, for example, is not a theme, it's a topic. What's the difference, you might ask?
A theme is an active exploration of a statement or question.
So if someone were to come up to me and say they wanted to make a movie about love, I'd ask them, what do you want to say about love? If they were to say, love can overpower any evil, well, that's a theme. K.M. Weiland explains the difference. Subject matter, then, is a static given. Theme, on the other hand, is an active exploration of an idea. It's a premise to be explored. It's a question. A theme is an active exploration, not a topic. A theme is also not specific to any one story. It is a universal statement about humanity or the world. Lastly, a theme is abstract. For example, killing someone with a hammer for hurting your son is not a theme. It's too concrete and too specific. Taking justice into your own hands is wrong is a theme. It's making a general statement about the way people should live. A theme is more than a moral or a message. It's a thesis, and the character arcs, plot, and conflict should revolve around it.
John York says in Into the Woods,
a theory is posited, an argument explored, and a conclusion reached. That, in a nutshell, is what theme is. What I like about Pixar Soul is not only does it have a clear theme, as most Pixar movies do, but it's a subversive one that is directly contrary to one of the most prevalent implicit messages in media, that your life is only valuable if you're successful, special, or extraordinary in some way. We see this in everything from the chosen one trope in fantasy and dystopian fiction like Lord of the Rings or Divergent, to sports movies like Remember the Titans and Glory Road, to superhero films, and ironically, almost everything created by Disney. Soul's thematic statement is this: life is not made valuable or meaningful because of what you accomplish. It is meaningful in and of itself. Or, in other words, there is no such thing as a meaningless life. So how to express a theme? Well, according to the Anatomy of Story, there are three main techniques you can use to break your theme line into dramatic oppositions: giving the hero a moral decision, making each character a variation on the theme, and placing the character's values in conflict. Truby's advice illustrates how theme is tightly interwoven with character arcs. In the previous video, I broke down the essential ingredients to create a powerful character arc, and I recommend you check that out if you haven't seen it, as I will be using some of K.M. Weiland's terminology here. Another important thing to remember is that a theme contains an implied ending. For a story to be coherent and the message conveyed, the main character must either have a revelation that the theme is the truth, which happens in a positive character arc, or he will reject the theme and his life will suffer for it, which is what happens in a negative character arc. So how does Soul echo the theme in the protagonist's character arc in the Inciting Incident? In the opening scene of the film, Joe gets a full-time position as a band teacher, but he's actually disappointed as he feels that accepting the position is accepting mediocrity. He knows he's talented and thinks that succeeding as a full-time jazz musician is his purpose in life. The inciting incident is when his former student gives him an opportunity to audition for famous saxophone player Dorothea Williams.
Wow, I would die a happy man if I could perform with Dorothea Williams.
Oh, well, this could be your lucky day.
But Dorothea isn't impressed with his resume.
So, we're down to middle school band teachers now.
She too conflates middle school teacher with mediocrity. She is a representative of a very American attitude. The true value of worth is success, and if Joe hasn't succeeded, then he simply isn't talented enough or he didn't try hard enough. But as we see, neither of those things is true, and this attitude is flawed. People who are successful usually got that way because of privilege and/or luck in addition to hard work. There are plenty of super talented actors, singers, dancers, musicians, writers, artists, and so on who will never get a big break, not because they don't deserve it, but because they were never given the opportunity. When Dorothea recognizes this, Joe gets the gig. In a humorous sequence, we see that the prospect of accomplishing his purpose in life is literally making Joe oblivious to everything going on around him. His pursuit of success has given him tunnel vision, leading him to fall into a manhole. He was so busy waiting for his life to happen that he missed the life happening around him. So what happens next? He dies before he can play with Dorothea Williams. Joe, however, refuses to accept his end.
This can't happen. I'm not dying today. Not when my life just started.
He leaves the great beyond and ends up in the great before, where unborn souls are prepared to enter Earth. There, he impersonates a mentor so that he doesn't have to die. He learns that all he needs to do to go back to Earth is to steal an unborn soul's Earth pass. In the Hall of You, a museum of mentors' lives, Joe's reminded of why he's unsatisfied with his own life. While the super successful and inspiring mentors' exhibits consist of them getting Nobel Prizes and changing lives, his consists of him watching TV, being part of an embarrassing rap group as a tween, eating alone at a diner, and getting rejected at audition after audition.
My life was meaningless.
So Joe conspires with his cynical, earth-hating mentee, number 22. 22 doesn't think life is worth living at all, has been in the great before for thousands of years. Joe proposes that he will help her get her Earth Pass, which requires her finding her spark so that she can give it to him. Joe's proposition seemingly solves both of their desires. Joe gets to return to his life in time to play for Dorothea Williams, and his mentee 22 doesn't ever have to go to Earth. In accordance with John Truby, Pixar makes Joe and 22 variations on the theme. Joe and 22 both need to realize the truth of the theme and start the story with misconceptions about what life is about. However, their character arcs start in different places. 22 is disillusioned and believes that life isn't worth living at all as it only leads to pain. Joe does believe that life has meaning, but only if you achieve something great. Joe knows what his purpose is and feels that he's not living up to it. 22 feels she doesn't have a purpose at all. The writers at Pixar also put their values into conflict. 22 is a cynic, while Joe is hopeful. He believes in the power of dreams. Throughout the movie, both of them attack the other's stance, nudging them toward the truth. 22 values pragmatism and honesty and calls Joe out for his whining.
I could even sound like you.
Life is so unfair. I don't want to die. Somebody call the ambulance.
I just use this voice because it annoys people.
It's very effective.
Joe challenges 22's assumption that Earth is horrible and life is not worth living by forcing her to trek through New York City. Remember that the theme contains an implied ending, and since this is supposed to be a heartwarming movie, Joe will have a positive character arc, in which he learns life itself is valuable. In order to get an Earth Pass, a soul needs a spark. They need to want to live. So a great obstacle for him to overcome is to have a mentee who sees no value in Earth at all. In convincing her that life is worth living, Joe will be able to overcome his lie. Notice how character arc and theme are intimately connected. The first event that contradicts Joe's beliefs are when he encounters his first lost soul. The lost soul is a hedge fund manager, a successful and lucrative job, but he is completely disconnected from life. Success has not brought him meaning or happiness. Yet Joe completely ignores these implications and continues stubbornly in his false belief. Act 1 is about establishing the character's beliefs. The writers then give Joe and 22 some perspective in Act 2 by challenging those beliefs in an extreme way. Joe literally gets to see his life through an outsider's eyes by having his soul put into a cat. And 22, having possessed Joe's body accidentally, is forced to live life and see what it's really about. In the barbershop scene, we see how self-absorbed and single-minded Joe is.
I don't know about this crazy cat guy thing, man, but it is nice to finally talk to you about something other than jazz, yo.
Huh. How come we, never talked about your life before?
You never asked, but I'm glad you did this time.
All he ever talks about is jazz. Joe is so obsessed with music, he doesn't leave time to enjoy any of the things that really make life worth living, like relationships. 22, on the other hand, is enamored with the little things about living. Lollipops, connecting with people, feeling the wind blow from the sewer grate, pizza. Her experience is designed to challenge Joe's beliefs. We also see a man who is, well, playing in the subway station, but he appears happy and satisfied, content to play and share his music. He is an example of finding happiness without success. Yet Joe sticks stubbornly to his lie. Joe believes that music is his reason for living. He believes if he does not succeed at his passion, his life has no value. He even forces this belief onto 22 by leading her to believe that a spark is a soul's life purpose, only to later discover that this mindset was completely wrong.
Hey, we never found out what 22's purpose was.
Excuse me?
You know, her spark, her purpose. Was it music, biology, walking?
We don't assign purposes. Where did you get that idea?
Because I have piano. It's what I was born to do. That's my spark.
A spark isn't a soul's purpose. Oh, you mentors and your passions.
Joe is given a chance to revise his beliefs, but instead he regresses. He's not ready to give up his lie, and in fact clings to it more firmly to cover up his doubt. Now, in most movies, the character would have to let go of their lie and realize the truth, the theme, in order to get what they want. The movie usually ends when a character either gets their need, but not their want, or gets both their want and their need. But Joe actually gets his want without getting his need. However, he finds that achieving his dream did not magically fix his life, make him happy and fulfilled. Dorothea basically tells him he's been looking for something he's had the whole time. In the course of a story, in the 11th hour, the protagonist almost always finds themselves at their darkest moment. I think it was subversive and poignant for Pixar to make Joe's dark night of the soul the moment he's been waiting for his entire life. After finding himself unfulfilled despite his success, Joe revisits his memories. The same moments that he took as symbols of how pathetic his life was, he now sees in an entirely new light. After Joe and 22 fight, 22 becomes a lost soul, and we see the damage that the societal focus on having a grand purpose can do to someone. Joe, realizing the damage he's done, finally lets go of his lie and embraces the theme. He gives up his ability to return to his life so 22 can live hers. This is the moral decision, and Joe makes the right choice. Because of his sacrifice, the leaders of the great before give Joe another chance to live, another chance to value his life as it is. Ironically, in giving up what he wants, he gets both what he wants and what he needs. Pixar Soul actively explores the thematic question, what is the meaning of life? Director Pete Docter weaves the theme throughout the film by reflecting it in Joe and 22's character arcs. Both begin the film with a lie or false belief, spend the second act challenging each other's values, and end the film having realized the truth of the theme. So in dissecting Pixar Soul, we see how you can develop a strong theme by weaving it throughout the character arcs, plot, and conflict. Soul is not only a movie with a message, but it gets that message across very, very well. So, thanks for watching. Remember to hit the subscribe button, and I hope this helps you develop themes in your own stories. Happy writing!